Off the northern coast of Somalia, flight deck crews on the USS Harry S. Truman worked with practiced precision. The carrier turned into the wind, generating the 30-knot headwind needed for optimal launch conditions. In the ready room, pilots received final intelligence briefings on their target, a heavily fortified cave network in Somalia's Golis Mountains, harboring the region's most dangerous extremist cell. Below deck, weapons teams loaded the final BLU-109 bunker busters onto 12 A-18 Super Hornets. Each aircraft's weapon system performed automatic diagnostics, confirming targeting parameters and release sequences. The squadron commander reviewed the mission profile one final time. This operation required precise timing and coordination that only their aircraft could deliver. The air boss initiated the launch sequence over the ship's communication system. The catapult crews took their positions as the first Super Hornet taxied into place. The catapult officers signaled the launch. With a huge jolt, the first FA-18 accelerated from a standstill to 170 miles per hour in 2 seconds. One after another, the remaining aircraft launched in 30-second intervals. The formation then climbed to 20,000 feet before turning east toward the Somali coastline. As they crossed into Somali airspace, the flight split into its assigned strike elements. Each 4-plane formation had specific target assignments within the cave complex. The lead pilot activated his targeting systems, watching his data linked across the entire strike package. The mission planners had rejected both the F-35 and Tomahawk options. This mission needed something special, a workhorse fighter with the muscle to deliver the heaviest bunker-busting ordnance in the fleet. The FA-18 Super Hornet brings unmatched ordnance capacity to carrier-based strike operations. Unlike other naval aircraft, the Super Hornet can deliver a staggering 17,750 pounds of external weapons, 80% more than the legacy Hornet it replaced. This increased capacity allows a single aircraft to carry multiple 2,000-pound penetrator bombs while still maintaining defensive armament, eliminating the need for separate bombing and escort aircraft. The Super Hornet maintains a combat radius of 449 nautical miles on internal fuel alone. This operational reach means aircraft launching from the Truman could strike targets deep inside Somalia without immediate refueling, providing critical tactical flexibility. When the mission requires extended loitering time, buddy refueling can nearly double this radius. Little did they know, this often overlooked yet crucial skill would be needed today. This, along with numerous other factors, made it the perfect tool for this mission. The Super Hornet's selection for this mission reflected its unique tactical advantages over other alternatives. While Tomahawk missiles could have struck the cave complex, they lacked the real-time targeting flexibility needed against potentially mobile leadership targets. F-35s offered stealth capabilities, but couldn't match the Super Hornet's heavy weapons payload necessary for bunker penetration without sacrificing range. This mission specifically required the FA-18's combination of substantial ordnance capacity, extended loiter time, and responsive targeting, enabling the strike package to hit initial hardened targets while maintaining overhead presence for follow-up strikes against emerging targets. Caught the extremist leadership during their narrow vulnerability window. The pilots continued getting mission updates as the formation streaked eastward across the Red Sea. At 10,000 feet, the strike leader confirmed each aircraft's position in the formation, 4 groups of 3 responsible for specific targets within the mountain complex. The packages separated, maintaining complete radio silence until something unexpected happened. Ground forces reported contact 6 kilometers east of the primary target, exactly as intelligence had predicted. The extremist group had detected the incoming strike and was pulling back into their cave network, while pinning down the Somali forces with heavy weapons under rock overhangs for protection. The formation had to eliminate this position so the fighters would expose themselves as they retreated to their fallback point. The lead aircraft then dropped to 6,000 feet and followed the terrain contours to minimize radar exposure. Pilots observed heat signatures clustering around cave entrances through the targeting pod displays. Spotters on the ground painted the cave entrances with laser designators that sent an invisible beam that only the aircraft sensors could detect. The 4 strike aircraft synchronized their approach, arriving at their designated release points within seconds of each other. The first two Super Hornets rolled inverted, then pulled through to a 45-degree dive. At precisely 4,200 feet, their weapon systems released the first BLU-109s. The bombs fell in a ballistic arc, their laser-guided nose cones making minute adjustments during the 12-second fall. No explosion marked their impact, at least not visible from the air. Instead, the bombs disappeared into the earth before detonating deep within the cave network. Secondary explosions erupted from inside the mountain as ammunition caches ignited. They were able to do this because they were carrying a weapon specifically designed to punch through rock and concrete before unleashing its destructive power. The BLU-109 penetrator bomb each F-18 carries underneath its wings combines immense mass with specialized engineering to defeat hardened targets other weapons cannot touch. Weighing 2,000 pounds, this weapon carries a 535-pound explosive payload, nearly double the destructive power needed to collapse reinforced cave structures like those in the Golis Mountains. What truly distinguishes the BLU-109 is its penetration capability. The bomb can punch through up to 8 feet of reinforced concrete, or burrow 20 feet into packed earth before detonation. This remarkable penetration is achieved through a hardened steel casing and specialized nose design that maintains structural integrity on impact. The weapon's programmable delay fuse proves crucial in underground engagements. By setting detonation delays between 25 and 100 milliseconds after impact, the weapon penetrates deep into protected structures before releasing its explosive force. This allows the blast effect to propagate throughout internal chambers rather than wastefully dissipating against external barriers, multiplying the weapon's effectiveness against cave networks and bunker systems. The BLU-109's penetration capabilities transformed an otherwise impossible mission into a viable operation. The extremist group had specifically chosen the Golis Mountains cave network for its geological protection. Natural limestone formations reinforced with concrete barriers and multiple internal compartments. Conventional bombs would have merely sealed entrances, leaving the structure intact inside. Instead, the BLU-109's ability to penetrate and detonate inside the complex created a devastating overpressure wave that collapsed internal chambers and support structures. And here is where things get interesting because the main target was still on the loose. With the first part of the mission complete, the 8 Super Hornets pulled up sharply, climbing away from the target area. The strike leader checked fuel status. The extended combat maneuvering had consumed 40% more fuel than planned. 4 aircraft were approaching bingo fuel, the point of no return for carrier recovery. Without additional fuel, they would need to divert to Djibouti, jeopardizing the mission's second phase. Electronic fuel state warnings flashed across cockpit displays. Each aircraft's remaining fuel appeared in digital readouts, confirming what the strike leader already knew. They needed the tankers immediately. Radar contacts appeared 30 miles west of their position. 4 Super Hornets approached in a staggered formation, each carrying something distinctly different from the weapons loads of the strike aircraft. The lead tankers signaled readiness as the first strike fighter banked toward the approaching formation, dropping airspeed to 250 knots. From the center line of the tanker aircraft extended a flexible hose, culminating in a basket-shaped drogue that wavered in the airstream. The pilot eased forward, guiding the refueling probe extending from the nose of his aircraft toward the oscillating basket. After 2 attempts, the probe locked into place, with a metallic clunk felt throughout the airframe. Fuel flowed at high pressure, replenishing the fighter's tanks in just over 60 seconds. Located here under the F-18's fuselage, the D-704 Buddy Store refueling system turns ordinary strike fighters into airborne gas stations. The system's impressive fuel transfer rate of 220 gallons per minute allows a complete F-A-18 refill in just 75 seconds, critical during combat operations where aircraft remain vulnerable during refueling. Each Super Hornet configured as a buddy tanker can transfer up to 8,000 pounds of fuel to other aircraft while retaining sufficient reserves for its own safe return to the carrier. This massive transfer capacity is enough to extend a 4 aircraft strike element's time over the target by more than 90 minutes, transforming a brief attack run into a sustained operation. 30 minutes after refueling, 4 Super Hornets maintained a racetrack pattern at 18,000 feet. scanning the mountainside below for movement. The initial BLU-109 strikes had collapsed the primary cave entrances, forcing surviving fighters and the high-value target to use concealed emergency exits hidden throughout the ridgeline. These secondary entrances were precisely what the mission planners had anticipated. The weapons officer on the lead aircraft noticed heat signatures on his center display, emerging from a narrow crevice on the eastern slope. The targeting system automatically flagged the anomaly, displaying the exact coordinates. The figures moved quickly, staying close to rock formations for concealment. The flight lead's aircraft banked sharply, positioning for a better sensor angle. His weapons officer studied the magnified thermal image from the pod mounted underneath the aircraft. The distinctive signatures of 12 human figures appeared, several carrying obvious weapon shapes. After a thorough analysis of the enhanced imagery, positive identification confirmed armed hostiles. The lead aircraft's targeting laser was activated, and coordinates were automatically shared across the strike package's network. 2 aircraft broke from the pattern, descending to 12,000 feet for weapons release while maintaining standoff distance. Each released a precision-guided munition, allowing the ATFLIR system to guide the weapons during their flight. On impact, the screen momentarily washed white with thermal bloom before clearing to reveal the aftermath. The system's battle damage assessment capability immediately confirmed 12 enemies were neutralized. They would have remained invisible if not for the high-tech targeting pod hanging beneath each Super Hornet's right intake, a system that can turn night into day and make solid rock seem transparent. If you look here, you will see this pod. This is called the AN-ASQ-228 Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared ATFLIR pod, which provides unparalleled targeting precision to carrier-based strike aircraft. Operating at standoff distances exceeding 40 nautical miles, the system can detect, identify, and track human-sized heat signatures, even when partially concealed by terrain or structures. This exceptional range keeps aircraft safely beyond the reach of most portable anti-aircraft weapons, while maintaining targeting capability. The system's 1.1 meter resolution at maximum range allows operators to distinguish between armed combatants and civilians, and even identify specific weapons being carried. This resolution is achieved through the pod's advanced mid-wave infrared sensor, which operates in the 3 to 5 micron band and detects minute temperature differences. Additionally, the ATFLIR's integrated laser designator provides pinpoint targeting accuracy of less than 1 meter at operational ranges, allowing precision-guided munitions to strike specific areas rather than general areas, such as cave entrances. This was absolutely vital to this mission. And unfortunately for these bad guys, this was just the first of many such strikes to come. Bye for now.